Hey everyone, welcome back to the Widowed Parent Podcast Live. I'm here this morning with Maria Collins from the New York Life Foundation. Maria, welcome back to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, well, it's great to see you again. Well, of course, listeners who've already checked out the podcast feed will know that today's episode is featuring you. It's episode 91, and actually you together with Chelsea Prox from the American Federation of Teachers, because you guys just did a new survey together all about grief in schools, and that's not the topic of this show, but I did just want to mention that people should go and check that out because that just dropped today, and it's lovely to see you again this week. So, today, though, we want to talk about some new resources you guys have. And New
Yes.
York Life Foundation is, of course, involved in lots and lots of children's bereavement work, programs, projects, organizations, initiatives. In fact, we talked about StoryCorps back in episode 28. We talked about, just last May, we talked about the Brave of Heart Fund that you guys are doing. And the other thing we talked about in May, which is why you're back today, is in May you guys launched your first book of a new series, right?
Yes, we did.
Yeah, and so I want to hear all about these books. And I know you guys now have two more. So tell us first of all, well, who are the books for?
Really, they're dedicated to grieving children and their families. And it is a project of love, and building resiliency in our community, having those difficult conversations and giving tools to parents and children that need it the most. And the book name, or the series, is called Kai's Journey. And it is 3 distinct books and videos that are narrated by Maya Rudolph, which we're so honored to
Wait,
have
okay.
her.
Now, Maya Rudolph, I love her on SNL. But so why is she involved in this project?
Well, Maya actually has a personal story about loss. She did lose, her mother. And I think that she adds a great voice to this issue that needs more attention. And the series, Kai's Journey, really does follow this little boy named Kai who loses his dad and finds a way to become resilient, but still remembering, the love, the memories, the mementos. So as you recall, the first book is called The Golden Sweater. Now, the Golden Sweater is about having a piece of that person still with you, even though they're not physically with you, and building resiliency and love from that golden sweater. And then the other 2 books, which the Girl with the Locket, which is about peer support. And as you also know, through conversations with a lot of bereavement centers, we support a lot of peer support, camps and school groups. And this is about Kai going to a bereavement camp for the
Ah,
first time.
ah,
Yeah.
that's
So,
cool. And so
yes,
that's the second book?
that is the second book.
Okay,
And
and then how about, oh, go ahead.
I just want to tell you, he meets a special friend and they connect. And that's what, bereavement camps are all about.
Yeah.
Just connecting with people. They have a similar experience, not the same, but it is common ground to form those really deep relationships and being able to share with a trusted friend about your loss and also about the happiness and the sadness that you experience remembering that person.
Okay, yeah, that's one of the things that I hear about grief camps and also the year-round peer grief group programs is that those connections with other kids or other teenagers, as the case may be, with other kids who get it, even if their experience is a little different. But everybody's lost a parent, and there's that kind of bonding. So yeah,
Yes.
okay, so terrific. So that's the second book, and then what's the third book?
The third book is The Fishless Lake. And I have to tell you, I love this story. I love all 3, but The Fishless Lake is really about connecting and remembering traditions. So
Hmm.
Kai every year took a fishing trip with his dad. And unfortunately, this is the first year his dad is not there to take him. But his
Mm.
mother, don't want to give it all away, but his mother planned for this day. And that in itself was something we wanted to validate. I think parents, because most of your viewers are parents, parents know that they're grieving. So one of the things we want to make sure is that self-care is so important. And also so you can be there for your child. So she planned knowing that every year he was going to wait for this fishing trip with his dad. So how does she continue that tradition and also evolve it to include herself and maybe others? So that book discussed how, as a family unit, do we continue traditions that we shared with our loved one, remembering them. Again, there's a lot of happiness there, but also there's a lot of sadness because that person is missing. So keeping that still ever present and never, and not just ignoring it, but actually embracing it in a different way.
Yeah. Terrific. Okay. Well, let me ask, what age group of kids are these books appropriate for?
You know, I read it to my own children, and I think it's definitely younger, so elementary school age. But I think the books, if you read them, can relate to any child because it is about experiencing first, and first never go away, right? So although we talked about going to bereavement camp or finding the golden sweater and memento that his father left for him, or going on that first time of that fishing trip without him, you will experience first throughout your life without that person. So although it's for younger children, I actually say it's for any family that is grieving, that wants, tools to discuss this in an open way. That's our goal, is to raise awareness. New York Life's mission is to elevate the conversation around grief and grief support. And that's why we also included a discussion guide.
Oh, yeah, I
Because,
want to hear about
yeah,
that. Yeah, because I think that's a unique aspect. So tell us about the discussion guide.
so with the golden sweater, we had a discussion guide for the golden sweater. And with the two new books, The Girl with the Locket and The Fishless Lake, we wanted to ensure that we actually discuss themes in each of those books. So we expanded the discussion guide we had and really added questions and opportunity for the child, the grieving child, and family to write their own story. And it provides words that sometimes it's really difficult to find the right word to say, to describe grief, to describe loss. So we give questions and we guide them through it, but we're not giving the answer. We're giving them the opportunity to have that discussion. Prompts, and also we made the discussion guide a hybrid. So at the end of the discussion guide, there are a couple of pages that the family can write their own story, which I'm so proud of. I think it's wonderful. So whatever book relates to you, we actually made sure that it's beautifully illustrated, and there are 3 separate blank pages. Each page represents each book. So it's the golden sweater, there's a page of Kai finding the golden sweater, the page of The Girl with the Locket, it's Kai with his friend, and then The Fishless Lake. So I think that each story will resonate, hopefully, with grieving children and their families, and they'll pick the one they want to write about. They might write about all 3, about starting and remembering a tradition, or going to camp, or peer support, or connecting with a friend, which is so important, or just having a piece of that person, a real tangible piece of that person with them always, like the golden sweater, that really instills that bravery, that resilience that sometimes we need. And we're not saying that that's the fix. We're saying it's a way to still stay connected.
Yeah. Yeah, terrific. Well, and I'm glad you mentioned that they were beautifully illustrated, because I was going to say, like, in terms of the type of book, it is a beautifully illustrated. Those were the words I was actually thinking of. And I wish I had my copy here. I forgot to pull it out before we started talking. Do you have a copy nearby?
I do. Underneath, I'm so sorry.
I would have to get up and move farther away, so this is good.
So this is The Girl with the Locket.
Ah,
As you remember, this is the golden sweater,
right?
and this is the Fishless Lake.
Nice.
And I do have to tell you that New York Life Foundation asked our experts to write about how these books are infused in the programs that we fund, but also partner on. So if you go to the New York Life Foundation website, which is newyorklifefoundation.org, you'll see that we have a blog series started for Children's Grief Awareness Day.
Ah,
And it really does touch upon all the themes in these books, from peer support to a parent perspective of raising a child without your significant other, and also family traditions. And the family traditions blog will come out around Thanksgiving, really talking about the themes about, the holiday time is going to be a difficult time for many of us, but how do we still remember that person and they're still children, right? They want to have fun. How do you have fun, remember that person, and still remember that person in a way that shows honor to them? And I think that the Fishless Lake does a beautiful job in illustrating that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, terrific. And so you mentioned Children's Grief Awareness Day. It is, of course, as we speak now, it's Children's Grief Awareness Month, and tomorrow
Yes.
is the actual day. So the timing of you guys launching these two new books in the series is perfect. Um, and let me see. Oh, okay. So you mentioned the animated. So just so I'm clear on that. So you have three different animated videos. One tells each story, right? That Maya Rudolph is the narrator of.
Yes, that's correct. We have three 60-second films for each book. So the Golden Sweater, which I hope many of you thankfully will see, and it is narrated by Maya Rudolph. And then the two additional films came out on Monday. So we're really
Ah,
excited about that.
good, good. Well, we'll be sure to put links to those and share those out. Uh, and I think there's one more element here that's interesting. Well, first of all, we haven't talked about how to get the book, but this is a free and actually better than
Apps.
free, right?
Yes. So New York Life, again, and the New York Life Foundation, for our bereavement resources, all of them are free, and we want to make sure that they're accessible to everyone. So Kai's Journey is located at the New York Life Foundation's website, so newyorklifefoundation.org, or you can go directly to the webpage, which is kaisjourney.org. And on there, you will see the books that you can download for free. You can also watch the videos. And for every download, we are donating another $175K. Every download. So one download equals $1, up to 175K. And we did that
Nice.
in May,
Yes.
as you remember.
Yes. And so back in May, it was for downloads of just that first book you had, Kai's Journey. And did you get to 175,000
We
downloads?
did. We did. Thank you, all of you, for downloading the book and sharing it. So we did meet our 175K goal with the Golden Sweater, and we hope to do it again.
Nice. And so those donations went to various children's bereavement organizations, nonprofits that are doing work in this space. And so now it sounds like you're doing this another 175,000 target of another 175,000 downloads to again fund additional children's bereavement work happening in different communities.
That is correct. Our focus is really to provide resources to children who have lost a parent, including children that have lost a parent due to COVID. Especially now, resources are so important, and we want to make sure that funding and investments go into those communities that need it the most.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and even just, for this discussion, this is a resource for families to have now these three books that they can use with their children, along with the discussion guide and, of course, the videos. Terrific resources. Good. I'm glad that you came on today to share this with us. So tell us again, where can people download these books?
Yes. So please go to kaisjourney.org or newyorklifefoundation.org to download these books and the discussion guide. And reminder, all of our resources are absolutely free. The books are free. They're beautifully illustrated. And please share them with people that need it and people that want to support grievers, because I think that's so important as well. So even if you're not experiencing a loss, you can still do your part in elevating the conversation by sharing these resources. So hopefully you will enjoy Kai's Journey, because it is really a gift of love from the New York Life Foundation.
Terrific. Well, Maria, thank you so much for speaking with me today.
Thank you so much.